Hello and welcome to the Bobby Moore Stand. My name's Gary and I've popped back and slammed me studio together just to do one quick show. There seems to be a lot going on at the moment and there's one big thing that I'd like to mention. So before we go there, as the thumbnail suggested, the lies continue. The lies, even though it's been proven by with actual numbers, the use of maths, that we should have money to spend. Apparently, well, we're going to carry on down this road of saying, no, we don't have money to spend. So, yeah, look, what do you expect? It's David Sullivan currently sunning himself on a yacht, having a good time and trying to make sure we spend absolutely no money on players and he doesn't back the manager as he should. So, anyway, look, before we carry on, if you watch our content, please can you subscribe to the channel on YouTube and also, or wherever you watch us, and also, can you give the video a like? It helps us massively. Thank you. We're going to be doing lots and lots of transfer shows throughout the window. And I've got a lot of that stuff on today. But before I start there, I want to talk about, and again, bear with me, don't roll your eyes. It's about a survey, but it's a different type of survey. Now, you've never been asked as a West Ham supporter by the club what you think of the matchday experience. And even if you have, it would have been, the results would have been heavily censored, right? And it would have been produced, what would have come out, the output from any sort of survey, like we saw that ridiculous survey that they used on us to prove that we all wanted to move to the new stadium. The one with 3 positive answers and 1 semi-positive. Yeah, it's how to fix a survey, that is. Well, we don't want in this. This is why this survey is so good, because it's independent and it's governed by the FSA, the Football Supporters Association. So they govern all of the accredited supporters organisations throughout the country. So anyway, this is it's official in that respect. However, it's not going to go to the club to be sanitised before we can draw some good conclusions from those data points, and that's exactly what Hammers United are looking to do. Now, I have put the link to the survey in the description, but please can you take 5 or 10 minutes. There's lots of, I found when I filled it in, there's lots of kind of free form fields that you can just put whatever you feel, basically. And and all the key questions are asked in there, all of them from what I can see. So yeah, it's a chance to be honest, knowing that your honesty is not going to just be stripped out of the final report potentially. So look, please can you support that? It's important. It's important that we show that we actually show what the fans think of the matchday experience in that ground, and it goes into pretty much everything, like I say, that you can that you can think of. So as a reminder, Hammers United are the group who as part of it's Paul Colburn and Andy Payne. They were going up and down the country, every home game, every away game, linking up with fan groups from other clubs. For instance, Liverpool and Everton, always there to get on there, get involved in something like this. But also some other clubs that you wouldn't expect, like Chelsea, for instance. Forming alliances, because from the fans' point of view, we are being taken a little bit for granted and taken for a ride in this country. That is one thing that we've all got in common. Tourists are popping up everywhere. The same sort of schemes that we see at our clubs for forcing them to resell your tickets back, that's popping up everywhere. Fans do have a certain amount of power and they should have a say, because without the fans, what is the game in this country? What's it going to be? A load of quiet football grounds with tourists in the stands? I mean, I'm sure the TV people wouldn't like that very much. But anyway, look, Hammers United did a fabulous job with other members of the advisory board. And I'll come to those later and read out with regard to rolling back those concessions. Getting the club to roll back on anything is almost impossible. They were absolutely dead set. I think they thought winning a trophy that we were favourites to win gave them carte blanche to just start charging year on year on year rises, taking the piss and doing whatever they like with us. Well, that's not true. That's not true. And as we've seen with a lot of people walking away, even though it's been spun by the usual people, a lot of people have walked away from their season tickets. People who probably never even considered it, but like myself, I considered it this year. We'll see what happens next year, you know. But I completely understand. I completely understand where these people are coming from, that they can't take it anymore. Because when we were at Upton Park and we were shit as a team, we had something to fall back on, right? We had the surroundings, we had the people around us, and you could generally get an atmosphere going, even if it's gallows humour. You know, I've been in very, very quiet and poisonous Upton Parks. Still better than that place. Yeah, because that is just a big. It is a soulless bowl. There is literally nothing to tie you to that big pile of steel and concrete and scaffolding. So look, a couple of people, you know, I want to mention, as well as Hammers United, who helped with that concessions thing. I'll read them out at the end of the video. Until then, please, just one more reminder, please, can you go and try to fill in that survey today? The link is in the description of this video. We need to get, this needs to be a big response to make any difference, right? They're looking for a minimum of 6,000, but I think we should be looking for a lot more than that. We need it to be truly representative. But please don't roll your eyes and say not another bloody survey, because this is the first of its kind to be asking about your experience in that stadium. That means whether you've left already, you used to be a season ticket holder, whatever. Please do that. Okay, on with the transfer news for what it's worth. Mohammed Kudus rejects a 270 grand a week. Why do they always do it in weekly when they get paid monthly like the rest of us? I don't know. From Saudi League side Al Nasir. He wants to go to Arsenal, doesn't he? He wants to go to Arsenal. Seems like that's already been, I don't know, there's been some discussions going on behind the scenes there, isn't there? I wonder what's happened there. I'll tell you what, there's going to be fucking outrage if he ends up going to Arsenal on a cut price deal. There really is. That cannot be allowed to happen. But anyway, I think this is what, I don't want to replay it to you, but you remember Declan Rice. We won that trophy the morning after. David Sullivan, our glorious owner, is on TalkSport trying to start an auction for Declan Rice. He couldn't have even waited till the following day, until the bus had, you know, done its thing. You know, the morning of the open top bus tour, he did that on TalkSport. Thank you, Wes. It shows how much he thinks of us as fans. Not to he don't give a toss about what we think. And so that is why, you know, I think he's, you know, he's sticking to this line of we got to sell before we buy. It's been proven wrong, but he's sticking to it. And he wants to get Kudus out of the club because his eyes light up when he sees big money on the table. Big money is not on the table. That's the problem. And the last thing we want to do is sell. If he forces a fucking move to Arsenal, Kudus, I hope we give him so much fucking stick when he comes back. I want it to be, you know, serious. Let's see. If he goes to Liverpool, fine. I can cope with that. If he fucking forces, orchestrates a move to Arsenal like Declan Rice did, no, fuck this. So anyway, that's wound me up just thinking. I only found out about that earlier. You know that I was just before the show. Anyway, he prioritizes Champions League football apparently, and yeah, whatever. You didn't prioritize us last year, did you, Kudus? What a waste of space. Right on the freebie theme. This is Josh Brownhill. You know, Burnley player who has played in the Premier League for 4 or 5 seasons, got relegated and done all sorts, ever present in the Burnley side, midfield engine. The only thing that bothers me about this, I've got to be honest, because he looks like a decent player. He's worth about, in the open market, about 12 so million, so it's a good freebie. But he's 29. I don't know. I'd have to check through. I've actually got the information right in front of me, so I need to check through what his injury record and such is like, because he is, you know, the thing that worries me about this is he's 29 and we've got other players, like for instance, Freddie Potts coming back. Does that mean Freddie Potts is not going to get a go? He's not going to get a chance in the first team, or is it just a case of building up a squad with lots of options? I don't know. I don't know what that's going to be. But if we look at him, you know, leadership. He's a club captain. We do need leadership without a shadow of a doubt. There is no doubt about that. Work rate, good. Set piece delivery, good. Uh, Box to box energy. Ooh, good. Known as reliable and hardworking, and that's exactly what we need. We need the attitude. We do not need the big names. We need people who are going to function as part of a Graham Potter team. If we don't get those people, what's the fucking point? And then we'll talk about, so for me as a freebie, he looks all right. He looks all right, it, but the fact that it's a freebie, it 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 annoys me a little bit because it means Sullivan is doing exactly what he said he would do, not backing Potter unless he can get some money in, even though we know he's got money to spend. Rumours about Thomas Souček leaving, but I honestly, we can't let Thomas Souček go. But again, I think this is seen as a bit of a contingency plan, just because you'll definitely find a buyer for Souček, just in case we can't shift Kudus for the right amount of money. Arsenal trying to play 45 to 50 million for Kudus. Do one, mate. This one is promising, but to be honest, this is just gossip. Briel and Bolo labelled the new Michael Antonio. Yeah. Pace, power, direct running, finishing, his reputation for being physical and a handful for defenders, history of significant injuries, including ankle and metatarsal fractures earlier in his career. Metatarsal, not worried about. Ankle, I am worried about. His career has been a mixture of prolific scoring spells and frustrating injury layoffs. Just like Antonio in his early days, actually. Ankle always bothers me. Always bothers me. With Josh Brownhill, by the way, no bad injuries at all, it seems. So I'm not. So I think that ticks a lot of boxes, and nothing. He can't help being 29, can he? He might be a great player for 4 or 5 years for us. Who knows? Who knows? But he's definitely got the right kind of. He's the right sort of profile, if you like. We've got to inject a little bit of pace, guile, and energy into that midfield. Creativity as well, though. Apparently, he's got a bit of that, but he's not primarily known for that. You know what I mean? So that's like the two big stories. Then we've got talking 25 million for Souček. Surely he's worth 30, isn't he? It's got to be worth 30. Someone's linking him to Newcastle. No, if he's going anywhere, you know where he's going. Leeds has been linked with, but you know Everton is the one. He won't go anywhere but Everton if he leaves. There were some dodgy rumours about Jill Jerfy and Lewis Alford being loaned out to Norwich and Portsmouth, respectively, to get some first-team football. Don't buy that. Naif Aguerd, who's going to stamp his feet and not come back to West Ham because he didn't like it here and he's doing so well in France, and there's a link for him to go to Marseille. Well, we should piss off somewhere, Marseille or anywhere, to be honest. Michael Antonio's contract is rejected. Come on, Mickey, you can't reject a contract off with us. I mean, I'm glad you have, but how can someone who's just coming back from like a career-threatening injury? Well, it wasn't even only career-threatening; it was normal life-threatening injury. You know, normal operation-threatening. He was lucky to get out of that alive. That let alone be put back together and get anywhere near fit to play football. I don't think he'll ever be fit enough to play Premier League football again. But that's just my belief, and I don't believe we should be signing old players, even if it's re-signing them. We've got to stop that nonsense. We've really got to stop it. That's another reason, like 29 years old. But mind you, look, if it's the exception rather than the rule, I can take it. But it's another thing that puts me off this brilliant Bolo link. He's 28. I mean, are we looking for nobody that's a little bit younger? Maybe a little bit younger. I think there's looking at. I just went through a few community posts beforehand, and from Ironclad77, he says the Kudus news is bittersweet. You have to admire his ambition, but it's a shame we're just a stepping stone. 70 million is a lot of money, though. We have to reinvest it wisely. Well, yeah, but the thing is, Arsenal don't want to pay 70 million. That was rumoured to be Chelsea. I think this was Sullivan trying to build up yet another auction. With the Saudi probably non-existent bid, the Chelsea probably non-existent part exchange deal. Who knows? East End 13 says not sure about Brownhill. feels like a sideways move. We've been buying proven Premier League players from relegated clubs for years, and it's not got us very far. We need to be more ambitious. Well, yeah, but again, he's being an element in a relegated team doesn't mean you're crap, right? You ain't tainted. You ain't tainted. Even Roger the Relegator turned out to be all right, didn't he? He was a serial relegator as well, wasn't he? Just like Aaron Ramsdale, who we're trying to buy. Bit of a worrying little clip about Aaron Ramsdale that I saw where he said he can't concentrate for longer than 15 minutes. I mean, my God. He tends to play with the fans and rile them up and stuff like that just for a laugh. Maybe he's grown out of it. Who knows? I mean, he's a decent keeper. He's good with his feet, but concentration is a primary attribute that you would expect in any Premier League player, let alone goalkeeper. I mean, especially a goalkeeper, surely. I don't know. Bolin Charles says, if we sell Souček, I'll be gutted. For all his faults, he offers something no one else in the squad does. Who else is going to score 10 goals from midfield and win every header? Exactly that. He's a man for all seasons, right? You're not going to play him every single game. It's not going to happen, is it? But why would you give 10 goals a season to someone else for what is a relatively small amount of money? You know he's not going to play in every game, but there's certain games where he's going to fit, and he is going to get important goals for us. We can't sell Thomas. It's bloody ridiculous. Anyway, what else we got? I think that is it. I think, oh God. Yeah, there's a lot of strange things out today, a lot of strange rumours and gossip, and kind of sorting the wheat from the chaff has been a tad difficult. Let me just put it like that. I think I somehow got there. Anyway, this is me from my half-finished studio. It's nowhere near finished yet, actually, but I just cobbled it back together so that I could talk about the Hammers United survey that you must go and fill out in the description down below. If you do that, I'd be really grateful. Thank you. And could you also subscribe to the channel, the Bobby Moore Stand on YouTube? I'm not fussed. Or TikTok or Spotify, whatever. And give the video a like, please. These videos will ramp up soon probably when we think there's some substance to some of these rumors. And to be honest, at the moment, I find it all a bit boring and tedious. They're repeated stories that you just got to wait for them to be denied, because they are going to be. I'm really struggling to find sources that I trust. There's a lot of bullshit out there, as always. Anyway, that is me done. I'll see you soon.